burn, destroy, threaten, endanger the most vulnerable. Nehawu's unorthodox bargaining methods across the country. Security swarms into crime-riddled Westbury as the fight against gang violence finally begins. And water woes from here in South Africa all the way to Venice. Those and a lot more coming up. I'm Jane Dutton. This is Eyewitness News. The South African Human Rights Commission says it is concerned by the use of violence during protest action. It was referring to the recent student protests and now the growing Nehawu strike. More than 200 Nehawu members protested outside a clinic in Khayelitsha in Cape Town. At one point, striking members entered the Michael Mapungwana clinic, disrupting operations. The trade union has been demonstrating, demanding a 10% wage increase. Striking workers outside Tembisa Hospital have vowed to continue disrupting operations there until their demands are met. Aggrieved workers have accused government of putting the lives of patients at risk. There was also a picket outside Charlotte Maxeke Hospital, while in KwaZulu-Natal, Nehawus denied that their action is illegal.
No, the department is speaking nonsense. You remember that there was an interdict and how appealed that decision. Anyone who understands basic law and who's logical in analysis will understand that once the order is appealed, therefore the decision that has been taken is suspended. That is why Nehawu is currently on a national-wide protected strike.
Government has urged Nehawu to return to the negotiating table. As always, there is light in the darkness. A couple caught up in the strike in Cape Town and all dressed up for their big day at the Home Office were serenaded by strikers there. After years of brutal gang-related violence, killings and high levels of crime, the South African Tactical Response Team, or Amaberethe, moved into Westbury today. The operation follows Police Minister Becky Cele's visit to the area. Calling on Andre de Ruyter to fill in the gaps and elaborate on corruption claims he made in a television interview. We've heard there will now definitely be a parliamentary inquiry into corruption allegations at Eskom.
And I think, colleagues, it will be a missed opportunity by the committee if we do not consider that seriously, so that we deal with this issue, dispense with it, and of course, Mr. de Ruyter will be the first one to appear, and then assist in us structuring the inquiry however we move forward. That is important.
And the drama in the Tshwane Council continues. The Electoral Commission has now confirmed that Dr. Murunwa Makwarela is no longer a councillor in the Tshwane municipality. This effectively means he is no longer mayor, since only councillors can take on the top job. Makwarela was disqualified by the city manager in line with the constitution provision that an unrehabilitated insolvent cannot hold public office.
I confirm that there's a vacancy declared against this particular name of the councillor. In my understanding and logic to the prescript, you can't declare a vacancy and the person remains in office. You vacate office before even the declaration is done.
It's been another busy day in the country's courts. The driver who was behind the wheel of a truck when it crashed into more than 40 vehicles on Durban's M41 highway on Monday now faces charges of reckless driving. 22-year-old Sitolile Zulu will apply for bail on the 15th of March. He knew he wouldn't get any cake, but one of the men charged for the deadly Rosettenville shootout did ask the court to sing happy birthday to him today. 10 men were arrested in February last year, allegedly, while on their way to carry out the heist. They fled to Rosettenville to what police believe was their safe house, where 8 suspects were killed in a shootout. And it's day 3 of Zandile Gumere's graft trial, where the court has been hearing testimony from the first witness, the head of eThekwani's Integrity and Investigation Unit. The former mayor and her 21 co-accused are on trial relating to the 320 million Durban solid waste management tender. And from storms and flooding in Johannesburg to the gusting wind in Cape Town, weather there is having a potentially devastating impact on the port. The timing couldn't be worse as it's the peak deciduous fruit export season. Transnet says more than 90 hours have been lost in 2 weeks. And by yesterday, 11 container vessels were waiting at anchorage. Recovery plans have been put in place to alleviate the backlog. The Western Cape's dam levels have dropped 22%, and while it's lower compared to the same period last year, authorities are advising residents not to worry just yet. In stark contrast, the Eastern Cape's Nelson Mandela Bay's drought is currently in its 8th year, and officials there are now urging people to save water. This was discussed at a sitting of Parliament today.
The department runs a hydrology model which indicates the level of restrictions required to try and avoid day zero, and the restrictions have been implemented as deemed necessary. The severe drought necessitated that the Algoa system in Nelson Mandela Bay be placed on strict water restrictions.
And from South Africa's water woes to the canals running dry in Venice. The city's iconic gondolas are beached along some of them as Venice battles dwindling water levels as a result of dry winter conditions. And while some of us enjoy watching one video after the next on TikTok, Americans may soon not be able to consume the social media platform. New legislation has been introduced to ban TikTok in the US. While the legislation doesn't target TikTok per se, it does give the government new powers to act against foreign link producers of electronics and software. And I'm happy to say TikTok is not under threat here, so please follow the Eyewitness News account. I'm Jane Dutton. You've been watching us here. Like and subscribe. See you again tomorrow.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.